Run! Go! Get to the Jibber Jabber!
Hey Valerie! It's on Apple Podcasts and Podomatic! Freaking awesome!
You sexy beast, Jibber Jabber listeners. What the hell's been going on Instagram this week? Because recently I posted up the wee deep dive that we done last week, we being little for thy who are not in Scotland. And you guys ran with it. I'm still getting likes and comments on it. What the hell's going on Instagram? We need to take a closer look. So we hope you guys enjoyed the deep dive that we produced for you last week. That was on the movie Taxi Driver. If you didn't like it, let us know. We didn't like it, so yeah, you let us know what you think about it. Go ahead and check it out on our Apple Podcasts app, on Podomatic, or anywhere you can find podcasts. I know there's a lot of bootleggers out there. This week, as always, you've got our weekly Jibber Jabber, and our theme this week is movies. In fact, sorry, I always fuck it up, don't I? Soundtracks that made the movies. So we mean movies that were pretty pish, but because the soundtrack was so good, it became good. So yeah, before we get into that, Jan Dorian, how's your week been?
Actually pretty decent so far, Miss Then. It's a good couple of quick days at work, plenty of stuff to do, and it's been early shifts, so getting home at a decent time, spend time with the wee fella, all that jazz. It's been a good week so far.
Any funny stories?
Do I have any funny stories? No, but I did watch a video of a dildo on a conveyor belt that made me smile.
And what was it? What was your tagline to that?
Well, it needs some context first. It was a dildo on the conveyor belt that you get your baggage back from after a flight, and obviously I don't know if it was one of the baggage handler's last days, but he just thought it'd be funny to stick a dildo on it. So it's just working its way around. It's just working its way right around the conveyor belt. You can see the adults laughing and the kids turning to their parents saying, "What's that?" It's really quite funny. And then as it goes through the flaps at the other side, it just looks like it's finished a day's work. It kind of steps through the flaps and does a wee jiggle. It made me giggle. And my comment on it was, there's always some dick that tries to get to baggage claim before everybody else. And yeah, I thought,
yeah, quite witty.
I do try and be witty. I mean, it's not easy to be as witty as me, Kevin. You should know this. You've been trying since we started this podcast.
I've been trying since I was born to be witty. It just doesn't come to me naturally.
I got wittier with age. Maybe it'll still come for you.
Wittier? Do you know, actually, I was watching a scene recently that made me think of you. And it was that part in Dumb and
Taxi.
Dumber where it's... You can't double slap. You can't double slap. You can't double... Guys! You're that guy in the middle.
I can totally
And
see
then he
that.
goes...
Think we could...
And then he goes...
Let's do a radio or something.
You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? He's just like, ah!
That's you.
That's right. He's just like, these guys ain't good for my ulcer. How do they know I got gas? Yeah, that's definitely you. Definitely you. It just really made... I found the scene far more funnier than I usually did for the 20th, 100th time I saw it.
Do you know,
that just really made me think of you.
One of my favourite scenes in that, and I actually forgot how funny it was, is the bit where he's in the phone box and the guy's outside, he's like, "Get off the phone!" He just fucking
Get off the boom.
punches right through the glass and knocks some spark out. He's like, oh, you turn your back on me. Oh, I almost like it. Guy sounds like Raymond.
Get off the... Yeah, Ray Romano, he sounds like it.
Yeah, he does sound a lot like Raymond.
So I got a job interview.
Yes, excellent.
It's to work as a member of the government. So, possible not. Do you know what's really great? What's really, really great is next week on the show, you guys can ask me if I got the job. And I can either tell you, yay, I'm back employed again, or you can hear that awful sound of...
That's another thing I've learned in old age, is to keep it secret when you're going for a job interview. That way, when you don't get it, you don't need to tell everybody, or you don't need to make up stories like some people we know who tell you, oh yeah, it just wasn't quite the right amount of money for me.
That's all this shit. Well, see, here's something for all you listeners and for yourself, Jandor. It's okay to fail, right? I'm not ashamed to come in and saying, yeah, they said hell no to me. It's all right to be shite, and it's all right to fail. You can't win everything in life, and if you want to win everything, you've got to take 300 fails before you get that one victorious.
Well, I should be pretty close then. I think I'm on 299 now, so something's coming.
Yeah, something's coming.
Something's coming.
Yeah, speaking of stuff coming, and don't take that which way you wished to take, Jandor. Right? But Jibber Jabber podcast has a lot coming. We said last week at the end of the deep dive that we had our fingers in some pies. Well, let's put it this way: if that pie was the same pie that Jim had in American Pie, that would be our pie, because we are shagging it. We're actually really happy to have really got on top of not a pie, but an opportunity that's come our way, and we will be announcing that very, very shortly. Cannot wait to share with you guys. I know a lot of you have said to me on the Jibber Jabber Facebook community page, that's that Jibber Jabber Facebook community page, you guys have said that you're on the edge of your seats waiting to find out about that. So that's that announcement will be coming very shortly, and we're excited about it. Hope you guys will be as well. Also, we are going to announce something also very soon about a possible, it's a definite endorsement from a company, which will follow designs for t-shirts that are available to buy, the official Jibber Jabber t-shirts. You can buy them, you don't have to, we don't expect you to, but if you want to, go ahead and buy them. They're cool, they're funny, but at this point it's just, we've got the opportunity to work closely with a company that are going to put them into production if you guys want to buy them, but if you don't, then that's totally fine. It's fine.
There's a good chance that in the right circumstances we might also be giving them away as prizes for certain things, so keep your eyes peeled.
Yes.
Something might show up on the Facebook community page on Facebook. Yes,
something will.
Keep your eyes peeled, and you might well find yourself able to, well, it looks like a gesture on our part, like, oh, that's cool, they're giving out free t-shirts. It's just advertising. Look straight through that one. It's got our pictures on it and everything. It's like, if you wear that, you're basically just a walking billboard, but we appreciate it.
Yeah, and you get it for free. I mean,
no, they get it for free.
You get t-shirts. What do you call them? House t-shirts, just for lounging, and house t-shirts. Just you can use it for whatever you want. Once it's yours, it's yours. But that's not the only thing that will be coming out for free very soon. We're about to embark on a competition spree in order to better our chances of fulfilling a goal we have set for one's and others' self. But that's enough about that. We shall get to the next part of the show. This show is going to be approximately an hour long for you guys, because we know you love the hour long shows. Make sure you share the shit out of this. Go subscribe. And Jandor, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was speaking to my sister the other day. I was actually thanking her for kind of engaging on the Facebook community quite a lot, because she does. Oh, nice. And I said to her, do you listen to the podcast? She's like, nah, not really. I was like, oh. and then said, why not? She said, they're a bit long. I was like, how little time have you fucking got? Sarah, this will be the one she listens to. Sarah.
Yeah. Yes, Sarah. No, she seems pretty cool. Is that the one that looks just like you but wearing a wig?
No.
The other one?
Yes.
One of the other ones? Or just the other one?
I've only got two.
Right. Oh yeah, Brian's a boy.
Yeah, there is that. Aye.
I thought it was Brian.
Bryony.
Bryony.
But yep, Sarah, start listening. Telling you right now.
Absolutely, Sarah.
I'm going to
Yeah,
tag you on a
get-
post in the Facebook community page to make sure you listen to this, so that you know I mentioned you by name, and I'm going to shame
Yeah.
you into listening to this.
Yes. Shout out to Sarah, our first time listener. You know, that's another one on the end of our weekly listeners. Which, by the way, thanks guys. There's it's good to see that people are actually listening to the show as well as watching our YouTube jabbers and getting involved in all the polls that we make. One thing I want to touch on before we get to a wee bit of fan mail here, right? I know, listen to that, fan mail. We got one mail. Like, we put the message out last week that we actually had an email address, and we got one mail. But before I
It's
talk
just a
about that,
picture of a fan.
what was I going to say there? Oh yeah, I was going to say something and I've totally forgot what I was going to say. It was about the fan mail, and it was before we got to the fan mail. I wanted to make a point in saying that yes, there will not be a poll this week for the deep dive because Jordan took it upon himself to tell you you're getting the hunt and that's it. So we're going to watch the hunt and deep dive that. Next week there will be a poll because we kind of starve you guys of interacting with the show, because I think that's probably why you listened to it, because you guys voted for what we are deep diving. So yeah, next week we will be doing the hunt, which I'm sure, was it not your sister Sarah that was like, is that no the one that this happens in? And I'm like, come on.
No, it wasn't my sister. No, I don't know who that lassie was.
Really? I
Yeah.
don't know who it was either.
It wasn't my sister.
I thought it was someone you knew.
Nope.
You you telling me this was an organic fan?
It could well be.
Well, I didn't know her.
But yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah, absolutely. But thanks for engaging, regardless of giving away spoilers. Right, moving on to our wee bit of fan mail here. A guy I actually grew up with, good guy, and an avid listener of the Jibber Jabber podcast, Kyle Martin.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yep. So he said it was more of an idea than a question, but with the new Star Wars and details coming closer to the new Star Wars nearer the time, would we be interested in doing a deep dive on Spaceballs, as it's a cult classic? What do you think of that, Jan Dorian?
It's hard to do a deep dive on a film that's so stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely one that we could watch and talk about, but I don't think
Yeah.
it's a deep dive. It's just it's so silly. That basically we just spend the whole thing going, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was
So we
funny.
could do-
Oh, see that other bit? That was funny.
yeah.
That's-
Well, we could do a review on it then.
I would certainly do a review on it, but I'll tell you what the
Another
review's
part-
going to say right now. It's going to say it was funny.
There was another part right here that says we also need to do a deep dive on the Lost Boys, which I'm sure will happen, because he agrees with you that there were better movies in the 80s that were set about vampires, and I still disagree, and I even asked him to provide me with an example of one, and he didn't. So that's on you, Mr. Kyle Martin. Next week I want you to mail in your answer. In fact, everybody on the Jibber Jabber community, send me in a list of movies that were from the 80s and were better than the Lost Boys that are vampire movies. You cannot do it. Jordan, give me something, right? Rather than just saying there was better movies, give me an example of a better movie from the 80s that is better than the Lost Boys.
Near Dark.
Near Dark. Talking
Yep.
at your arse, mate.
Nope. I'm not.
Near Dark.
Near Dark. It was a really good vampire film. It's like a vampire western thriller. It was class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a poll coming on.
The thing is, I did not say that Lost Boys was a bad film. I just said it's not as amazing as people make it out to be. I've
No,
watched
but
it.
it is, though.
I've watched it 100 times. I enjoy
I've watched
it.
134 times.
I enjoy it, but I don't think it's. It is. What's the best word for it?
You don't think it deserves its cult award?
I didn't say that either.
Well, what are you saying? What are you saying,
What am
Jordan?
I saying? I'm just saying that there are films out there from the 80s about vampires that are technically better.
Okay, other than Near Dark, give me another example.
Nearer Dark.
Near Dark. Is that all you got?
Yeah.
Is that all you got? Right, that's a poll, I'm telling you right now. On the Jibber Jabber community page, if you're not already on there, please, facebook.com/groups/Jibber Jabber community, or hit the search bar, Jibber Jabber community, or check on all of our social media, check on the description page of where you're finding this podcast right now. You'll see it, Jibber Jabber Facebook community. Click on that shit. Head to a recent post, which will be a poll. Which movie was better, Lost Boys or Near Dark? And I am categorically telling you right now, Lost Boys will win that. Straight up.
I have absolutely no doubt that Lost Boys will win the poll.
Absolutely.
This is just my personal opinion. It's not. It doesn't
Fuck's
need to
your
be.
problem? With the Lost Boys, mate.
Doesn't need to be a fact. It's
What's the
just,
matter? Does your wife fancy Kiefer Sutherland or something? You got a grudge against it?
No.
No.
He looks like a turtle.
It does.
It's got that wee pointy lip.
Do you know what? See that pointy lip? The most notable of that lip in that movie is when he finishes taking a drink of the blood from that bottle, and he kind of just points his head to the side, and his lips proper turtle. Do you not think?
Aye.
Looks like Marla from Neverending Story, huh?
It was like that. It was like that craze people were up to a couple of years ago, where they were sucking on a glass.
Except his became pointy. Yeah.
You're eating maggots, Michael.
Absolutely, man.
So, I've got no doubt that the Lost Boys would win the poll. I just think that there are technically better vampire films out there. In fact, it's something I could look at is vampire films from the 80s, and I bet you that there will be some here that you go, oh, aye, that was actually really good. Right? So, on the way into the next segment, which you do, that's your bit, where you do, this is what we're doing.
See on our next Jibber Jabber. Obviously, we have the Hunt deep dive coming up next, but on our next Jibber Jabber, that's going to be our theme: 80s vampire movies, and we'll see if we can find one that's going to knock the crown off the head of the Lost Boys, worse than when the gang ripped the heads off those fire dancers in the scene when they run up the hill and Michael's like, no! And they're like, walk this way! And they're like throwing bodies on the fire. That's what's going to happen. So, moving on to the heart of what we're doing this week. Soundtracks that made the movies. Jordan, give me an example of a movie that was alright, but is so much more celebrated because the movie soundtrack was amazing. Right.
Well, I'll be 100% honest with you. This is one that I really I bit my fucking tongue. This is one that I really struggled with. I did come up with one, but it was a film that I actually thought was brilliant. But the more I thought about it, I think it was the music that made it good. And I could only come up with this one, so I apologise, man. If this is a theme, it's going to be a short ass theme. But it's actually Footloose.
Do you know, I thought about that, but then I went, wait a minute, I've not actually fully watched Footloose, so I can't actually say that.
Well, I've seen Footloose now. I love the main song, Footloose. I don't dance, right? But anytime Footloose comes on, I get up and I dance my ass off. In fact, at my engagement party, right? I don't think you know this story. At my engagement party, Footloose come on, so I go up. I'm obviously drunk, giving it the biggin', and you know, for the end, like the end of the song, it just builds up, dun, 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 and then. And then everybody got Footloose, and then I jumped up in the air, right? Came down, burst the arse right out of my trousers, and I mean right out.
God, that's hilarious.
You know, it didn't even make a ripping sound. It just went like this.
No, I've done it many times. It's a sign of getting older, huh? I done it at school once, and you know, actually, when I was younger, I think I was on my way home from school, and they used, for some reason, you'd get an old tree, and there'd be a rope hanging from it, and for some reason that was called a tarsy. here in Scotland? A Tarsy, right?
Tarzan
You're laughing
swing.
because you remember. Is that what it is? And then it's short to Tarsy, right? So you would jump on it and swing. Well, where I lived, close to where I lived, it was like a high bankment, and then there was like a river. We'll call it it's not exactly a river, a burn. I don't know if people around the world know what a burn is. It's a small lake.
It's like
a stream.
A fucking runny, manky puddle.
Right, pretty much. But you don't want to fall in it because it'll probably, if you land in it, you'll go under it and come back up.
With AIDS.
Right, yeah, pretty much, and everything else. So I got on it, and obviously when you sit on it and you swing across, the land over on the other end it's further down because they're uneven. So in order to land properly, you're going to have to let go of the Tarsy a little bit and slide down it to then make it to the end. So what I done is I swung across, let my hands loose a bit so I'd slide down the rope. The rope ripped my trousers and I fell in the water anyway. Drenched in like rat piss water, right? With my trousers ripped right up the top, everybody could see my arse, and I still had to walk home. So you only had Footloose. Is that all you could come up with for that?
For that particular subject, yes, I've got.
Right. Well, good.
I've got
Good.
a lot
Because I have some here.
Oh yeah, okay, let's go.
Yeah, I have some. But these are again are subject to opinion. So let's get your opinion on some of them, right? Now I'm going to start with this movie. This movie for me is a good movie, but I just think culturally it's remembered and it's celebrated more because of the theme song that was made for it. And the man that wrote this theme song and performed it, you can also find on the Jibber Jabber YouTube page. You can also hear his interview on this coming up very shortly. Mr. Ray Parker Jr., the Ghostbusters movie. Agree or disagree?
Well, you think that the Ghostbusters would be shite without that tune?
No, no. This is why I started with this, because I was swithering whether to put this on or not. I think the movie was always going to be great, but I think having that theme song took it to the next level, where even people that have never seen the Ghostbusters know of the Ghostbusters because of the music. And I'm not saying the Ghostbusters are shite, far from it, but that's the reason why I had to put it on this list. And again, it was a grey area. This is the only one in this wee list that's a grey area, because the movie's good, but I just think with that song, it took it to a new height. You can't disagree with that.
No, I can't disagree with that, but I mean, going back to Footloose for a minute, the music in Footloose, certainly for when it came out in the early 80s, was really good. Kenny Loggins is just class, man. The guy does great theme tunes. And but the film itself, it's set in the 80s, but it feels like it should have been in the 40s or 50s, just with the attitudes of people. I mean, it's like, don't dance, it's bad for you. Fucking what, right? So you've got obviously the town priest, who obviously has major say in the laws in the town. Oh no, he's a judge. I'm talking shite. He's a judge, I think. Jesus, I'm trying to remember now. Yeah, I think he's a judge, and he said that I think his son or something had been killed in a tragic dancing accident. I think he'd been drinking and dancing and something, and somehow he died.
If dancing kills you, you were never longed for this world.
And right, so obviously everybody knows the story. Basically, Kevin Bacon's like, "Fuck you, I'm dancing." So spends ages dancing about in a warehouse, and then there's a big. Eventually, John Lithgow's character just goes, oh, "All right, you can dance," and then so everybody starts dancing. But what's funny, right at the end of that film, there is. I mean, the idea is that nobody's been allowed to dance in this town, right? But as soon as there's a dance party, all of a sudden, these people are professional fucking dancers. I don't understand how you'd be able to dance like that if you've not been dancing for years. I mean,
Probably secret dance society.
Dancing.
Underground dancing.
First rule about a dance club is...
Dance club. Obviously, someone's broken this rule, because I'm seeing more line dancers here than last week.
We need to remake Fight Club with dancing. That's funny as hell.
That'd be, do you know? See if we ever, right? Because we on the Jibber Jabber podcast like to wear many hats. But if we ever decide to make a movie, Jordan, right, and fund it ourselves through Patreon or whatever, telling you, it is definitely going to be called Dance Club.
Yeah, I'm going straight to Tommy Wiseau for the money.
Absolutely. So do you agree then about Ghostbusters?
I think that even people that haven't seen the film have heard the song.
Mm-hmm.
So it is quite a. I mean, it's just a feel good tune. Dun, 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 dun. But I don't know if it fits in this category though.
No, but I had to put it in there because I wanted to talk about it in that sense. And for you guys listening at home, if you haven't seen already, please go to our YouTube where you can see us. We filmed live Ray Parker Jr. playing the Ghostbusters theme. That was an incredible feat for us, Jordan, to stand there front row while Ray Parker Jr. is playing the song, one of the songs from our childhood. Not only that, but we also got an interview with Ray Parker Jr. where I talked to him about my son and how my son loves Ghostbusters and loves the music that Ray had made. So go and check that out on our YouTube page, Jibber Jabber Podcast. You can get tinyurl.com/Jibber Jabber YouTube. You can see that all there. So it's nice to bring up a former guest on the Jibber Jabber here when we're talking about movies. Another one, right? I don't know if I'm going to get shot for this, but Grease. I think Grease...
Shite.
Right, shite movie. It's not that great. The story is really... It's nothing special. The acting was nothing amazing, but the music is timeless. Would you agree?
What's happening, Sandy?
My wife sings it all the time, but yeah, I never see her watching it.
Again, it's one of these ones where I'd heard the music before I'd seen the film.
Yep.
And then I seen the film and thought, fuck, it makes me wish I never heard the music. Honestly, that film destroyed a bit of my fucking soul, and I'm never going to get it back.
So you would agree with me on Grease?
1,000,000%.
There's not much to say more about that. We're going to jump forward to 2019 here, and I was going to watch it, and then my wife went to the cinema to see it with her mum. So we watched it when it came out, and I'd heard the soundtrack completely in its entirety over and over and over again before I'd seen the movie. But A Star Is Born, it came out in 2018, didn't it? But it was released in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 2018, A Star Is Born. It's a remake, obviously. Bradley Cooper directed, and has himself and Lady Gaga to an BAFTA winning award. Made this movie, and Bradley Cooper, along with British producers like Mark Ronson and Lucas Nelson, who's the son of Willie Nelson, wrote together with Lady Gaga the original motion soundtrack for it. And I've got to admit, the music's good. It's amazing, and I think if you can go in to a movie and have an original soundtrack written by the people making the movie do so well, then it definitely adds to the movie. The movie wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anywhere near as popular and as good as the music. Have you seen A Star Is Born, Jandor?
No, I haven't. The only thing I know about it is the fact that Bradley Cooper's up for a Best Actor Oscar for it.
He was good.
I was just going to ask you, I know that you're obviously a huge fan of Bohemian Rhapsody, and I'm just wanting to ask you, genuinely, who do you think gave a better performance, Bradley Cooper or Rami Malek? Now you need to get past your bias here, because I know you loved Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, let me break it down a little bit, right? So obviously Rami Malek is playing an actual character from real life. So you're seeing Rami Malek play something quite biographical. With Bradley Cooper, he's playing a fictional character. So, it's very hard, because Bradley Cooper, you're used to Bradley Cooper almost being, the guy with the beautiful eyes, the heartthrob of the movie, or the boyfriend that's came back on the scene kind of guy. With this movie, is very serious. There's a lot about mental health in it, because he's a character that's dragging a lot of baggage from his childhood right into his adulthood, and he's got it all, but yet he's not content, he's not happy, he's in a horrible place. He meets Lady Gaga, her name's Ali in the movie, and he's probably the happiest he's ever been, but he can't shake his demons, and it starts to impact her. And with Bradley Cooper's character, it makes it feel real. So you're there when you're watching the scenes, you're in the scene, you're feeling it, you're there with him. With Rami Malek, you're there, obviously. You feel like you're watching Freddie Mercury. I'm going to go ahead and, just for sheer goosebumps, give it to Rami Malek, but I'd say it's going to be very, very close, because each of them done amazingly. But for me, when I was in the cinema watching Bohemian Rhapsody, man, there was just complete goosebumps the whole way through, because he was just so good. He embodied Freddie Mercury in that movie, and I mean the teeth were a bit over the top, I think. And whether or not the movie was completely factual, you felt like you were watching Freddie Mercury, and that's all we wanted from somebody who was going to play Freddie Mercury. With Bradley Cooper, you get to know this character, and he brings it to light. So I think either way, if Bradley Cooper wins it, then I'll say, well, if anything was going to beat Rami Malek or deserved it would be Bradley Cooper's character. However, have you been watching much of these awards ceremonies? Because there's a movie right now out called what is it? It's where they're all acting like a bunch of posh twats. What is it?
Say again?
There's a movie out right now that's swooping all the awards, and it's the one about where they're acting like posh twats. Who's all in it? What's her name's in it? It's married to Daniel Craig. She's in The Mummy. What's her name again?
Rachel Weisz. Oh, the thing about the Queen.
It's not called The Queen. It's something else.
No. Oh God, I know what this is called.
Well,
The Favourite.
Right. They've been swooping all the awards. Emma Stone's in it as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm a bit annoyed about that. Like nobody's bothered. Nobody's even bothered about
that. I'm going to tell you why it is.
Now listen to me before we go into you telling me why this is. Please note, I am not editing the shit out of what you say here. So go ahead and constructively tell me why that is.
It's political. It's full of women.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'll totally go.
That's
with
it. I'm not going any further into it than that. It's full of women.
Yeah.
That's why. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that any of the women are bad actresses.
Emma Stone.
They don't. She's not a bad actress.
She's a bad actress. We've just not seen the best of her yet. It's the same shit, different movie.
No. I fell in love with her in Superbad. She was gorgeous. No, it's basically it's Hollywood covering one of their bases, ticking one of their boxes, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think period pieces have got. That's not because it's full of women. It's because it's set a long time ago, right? Period pieces generally they don't have the same appeal that they used to have.
Yeah.
It's certainly when it comes to the masses, but it's not the masses that matter when it comes to this. It's the Academy that decide. It's not. If it was all done to public votes, you would see very, very, very different results coming out of the Oscars. Not just this one, every one, going back to the beginning of them. Mm-hmm. If it was the public that actually got to choose who was winning, like I mean, they do it with important stuff like the X Factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why can they not do it with the Oscars?
Of course. I
said important, ironically.
I was sitting watching that with my wife, and each time A Star Is Born came on, she was like, "Oh, this'll have to win," and then something fucking absolutely stupid won. I kept saying to her, and I was like, "It's political." She's like, "That's bloody stupid," and it's true. It is. A lot of the shite that I'm not gonna say it's a lot of shite, but it didn't look like my cup of tea, right? And it certainly doesn't have as much energy as like Bohemian Rhapsody or as much depth as A Star Is Born. With that, I just thought it was a bit of fucking absolute cop out. But I really hope that the award at the Oscars goes to either Rami or Bradley. And here's something I want to bring up to you. Did you know that Queen and Adam Lambert are playing live at the Oscars?
No.
Do you want to make a bet
What's that?
that Rami Malek will burst onto stage as Freddy? What do you think?
No,
You don't think he
because
will?
he can't sing.
Well,
No.
oh well. Let's not make a bet.
I don't think he will.
I think
If he had actually learned how to sing like Freddie for the film, then maybe he would have done it.
possible.
But the guy, do you know who the guy is that did the singing for when they couldn't just use Freddie's vocals?
No.
No, the guy's name's Mark Martel.
Uh-huh.
Look him up.
So the guy
Look him up, man. This-
also looks like him.
A wee bit. He's got a kind of
Right, I
similar
know exactly
jawline
who you're
and that.
talking about, yeah.
You know the guy.
Yeah.
So, that I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, I think Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga are set to perform one of their hits at the Oscars. What do you think?
Rami Malek.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
No, I never
I think
said
you'll get it.
Rami Malek, you dafty. You definitely weren't
What?
listening to me there.
Where was that?
Where were you? I said, I think Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper will perform one of their hits at the Oscars. Jordan, what do you think? And you're like, Rami Malek, he'll definitely be there. I'm like, what are you chatting about?
I had a bit of a Kev moment there.
Aye. What were you multitasking?
I was trying to. I just can't fucking do it.
Me neither.
I don't know. Because have they not already done it somewhere? I'm sure they've already
No,
done it.
it was
Like,
at
or
her,
I think it was one of her.
It was at
her
her
concert.
concert. He popped up.
Aye, I think they've already done it. So I think if they do it again, it will just feel. It won't feel organic. I don't think they'll do it. It'd be cool if they did, because I've heard the song and it's actually pretty decent.
Oh, have you heard it? Sing it to me.
I don't know it.
Come on.
I heard it on the radio once.
You
You
heard it? Aye, right. You've heard it more than once. You just didn't want to sing it to me.
I've just heard it once. So, going back to what we were saying, I think there's a lot of political nominations getting made this year.
Yeah.
I mean, the Black Panther being up for Best Picture. Come the fuck on.
Yeah.
Is it just a coincidence that the first superhero film to get nominated for Best Picture is basically a what's the word?
Take a look at my life, all black, like Johnny Cash, all black.
It basically is. I mean, it's a film that's for want of a better expression, it's full of black people. I'm not saying it's a bad film. Well, in fact, I didn't like it. For what I've seen I turned it off. But I've done that with many superhero films. I've just switched them off. I'm fucking fed up with them. Maybe that's why I don't like the fact that it's been nominated. Maybe that's why, 'cause I'm just fed up with superhero movies.
No, I think it's the other reason. But,
It's not.
do you know a side note?
It's not.
I wanted to actually tell you this. The Matrix. Did you know? The Matrix, originally, the idea was, and it was pitched to Will Smith to play Neo. Did you know that?
Mhm.
And do you know, with Neo being black, they were going to have a white Morpheus. Did you know who they were going to ask? Do you know who they asked to have as Morpheus?
No.
Val Kilmer. Like not now Val Kilmer, then Val Kilmer. 2003 Val Kilmer. Genuine.
If you would just describe my face to the audience.
Jordan looks like he has something to pass and is very much unable and is trying hard to pass it, but is still very much unable.
The thing is, you could say that with a million things. Like, I couldn't imagine anybody doing that. I couldn't imagine anybody else doing these things. But it's, you know what you know and you know what you've seen, so it's hard to see past it once it's already happened. You never know. It could have been really good.
Well, Will Smith said he
Um,
turned it down because the guys that made it came in to pitch it to him and basically said, "Yeah, we're gonna get all these cameras and we're gonna have them all around you. So imagine jumping in the air." But then it does a 360 and you freeze in the air. And Will Smith just looked at them like, right, nah, no thanks. But he said his gift to us was that he got Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne in The Matrix, and if he had taken the job, then we wouldn't have had the Matrix we have now. So you're welcome.
Yeah. I think there are things about the Matrix that I don't like, but there's a lot of things that I do kind of outweighs what I don't. So
Matrix is awesome.
I do. Yeah. I still think like Keanu Reeves would make a really good wardrobe.
In which movie?
He's wooden as fuck. He's just
he
wooden.
is quite
man.
wooden.
And there's a couple of exceptions to that where he's actually been quite decent, but I'm trying to think. He's good at the John Wick thing,
Yeah.
but it's just because he's an assassin. They're supposed to be cold and emotionless, which is good at. You know what the film that he was absolutely the best in was Bill and Ted. Both the Bill and Ted films, it just suited him down to the ground.
Yeah, he was very young in that.
Then you look at him in something like Point Break, which, by the way, I love Point Break. I am an FBI agent. What?
Fantastic. So another movie back on track here. Another movie that I believed made the another soundtrack that made the movie. Sorry, I'm all fingers and thumbs here, tongues. Another soundtrack that made the movie, and this probably is just a personal one for me, but I thought Linkin Park done a great soundtrack to the Transformer movies, and I think that the first Transformers was really good. I think that the song they already had released, which was What I've Done, was a great way to end the movie. Then they stuck to the same kind of format for the second movie, which was okay. The movie was alright. The song New Divide finishes the exact same way, and then it all went to shit.
Yeah, not a big Transformers fan.
You see, I liked the first two. The third one was absolute pish. The recent one with Mark Wahlberg, the first recent one, was alright. They actually got the Imagine Dragons to start writing the music, and Imagine Dragons are just fucking insane. They're so good, and they add value to anything they touch.
I don't think I've seen any full Transformers movie from start to finish. I've seen most of the first one. I've seen some of the second one. I turned it off when the Motor Homies came into it. It was like, what is this? The Motor Homies.
Do you know, one thing that fucks me off about the Transformers movies and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies? Megan fucking Fox.
Yeah, that's her middle name. How do you think she got the jobs?
It's just ridiculous. She not only did she bitch like fuck about Michael Bay, right, then get sacked from the Transformers movies, which completely fucked the story between her and Sam Witwicky. Didn't make any sense for me, right? But then she goes and gets back in with Michael Bay and then fucks the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. April was never Megan Fox. I would even understand if they had Emma Stone as April, right? Would that not be a better fit?
Aye.
Right? And you know, originally, April was black.
I actually think I did know
with
that.
an afro.
I don't know. Yeah.
But we can't have that now, eh? Not back in the 80s. So, April became ginger.
But again, why did they do that?
They're like...
Do you know, what was the point in that? I mean, this is me going the other way now. If somebody starts a certain way, fucking keep them that
absolutely.
way. There's no need to change that.
Megan Fox should never
Absolutely.
be April. For that alone, not the Transformers, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies are just... I can't even take them seriously. And the Ninja Turtles were never fucking 12 foot high. Do you know what I mean?
Are they that tall?
They're fucking massive.
I'm trying to remember. I've seen the first one. I haven't seen that. Is it Out of the Shadows or something?
Mhm.
The second one.
Yeah,
I've not seen
my
that.
son absolutely loves Ninja Turtles, and he doesn't even take them seriously. Do you know what he calls the Michael Bay ones? And believe me, he differentiates between what are real Ninja Turtles and what he calls the Michael Bay ones are. They're the shell-shocked Ninja Turtles, because Wiz Khalifa had that song that came out for the the Ninja Turtles was called Shell Shocked. It's basically like a.
What are with these? What's with these fucking
I know,
names?
Wiz Khalifa.
Honestly, what happened to Ice Cube and Dr. Dre? Fucking even Puff Daddy, I can understand. Wiz Khalifa. What? Sounds like a shit Indian restaurant.
Do you know what? It's just shit music. But that song,
Wiz
which
Khalifa.
my son actually likes the theme song because it's completely talking about Ninja Turtles. But because it's got a hip hop song called Shell Shocked. My son will always, he knows the difference between the Michael Bay, because he has the action figures, has all the action figures, and I mean all the action figures. If he picks up a Michael Bay one, he calls it a Shell Shocked.
Mate, have you seen that they're releasing action figures
He-Man.
based on the 1987 classic Masters of the Universe?
Yes.
I don't get excited about action figures, but they look pretty
gonna
cool.
buy
Like,
them?
you know, the one I loved was Skeletor with his
Yes.
gold suit with the big fucking horns.
Mate, I had it.
That was cool.
I had that shit when I was a kid.
They never had them out, did they?
I had a Skeletor and a He-Man.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the ones based on the film.
I don't know if they're based on the film, but I had the He-Man toys for sure. Do you want to know what became of my He-Man toys, along with all my other toys, like my flip head Power Rangers and all those cool shit when I was a kid? Well, Mama.
Do you know somebody called Anne Gregory?
Yeah.
She's just asked to join the Jibber Jabber
Oh,
page.
no way, mate.
So let's give Anne Gregory a wee like.
Hey, Anne Gregory. Hey, see Anne Gregory. She worked at our former work. She's old. Like she shouldn't even know what a podcast is. But yeah, back to the old action figures. When I had all the old action figures back in the day, you would have the Power Rangers. You'd you'd push the wee morph on their belt, and their head would flip from the normal head to them having right. I had all that. I had biker mice from Mars with the wee motorbikes. Had He-Man, and then do you know what happened? Cue sad
What?
music. Cue sad music. My mum and dad split up. So no, don't worry, Jordan. I'll edit this music. I'll edit music in. You don't need to give me it. It'll be there when you listen to this podcast, right? My mum and dad split up, and then my toys went to my grand's attic, and then years later they were sold at a car boot sale. I never saw them again.
Oh, dude.
And that was the last time I remember being one of those kids that had everything.
So how did that happen? So like, I'll take the Wayne, but I'm not taking his fucking toys.
No, I think because my mum and dad split up, we went to live with my mum's mum for a while, and my dad went to live with his mum for a while. So the idea was the toys will go in my dad's mum's attic, my grand's attic, until such time we move from my mum's house to a new home, to which then we will regain said toys. Well, Jordan, the toys were never regained, and neither was a part of my fucking soul.
That's a documentary waiting to happen. That one.
Mm-hmm. However, this
It's like
this documentary, right, which probably will be a Netflix original, won't consist of me pulling over and sucking some guy off. We'll get into that on another show.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later.
Fuck that. So again,
I really need to rethink my life choices.
yeah.
No, we're talking about a documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
You might have seen it, called Abducted in Plain Sight. We'll talk about that later.
It's fucked up, and I think we will talk about that in more depth.
Going back to movie soundtracks
Yes,
for a minute.
before we run out of time. This is the
What I'm going to do.
Eh?
What I'm going to do is rattle off a few movies that I think have got excellent soundtracks, and a couple of movies that I actually don't like the music in them, but they fit the film perfectly. Right? So they've got their place. Right, I'll start off with the ones that I actually don't like the music, but they do fit the movies. The Matrix. I don't like the music in it.
Rage Against
it's
the
not
Machine
my
is
type
in
of
that.
music. Yep, not my type of music, man. So that helped the Matrix become what it is. It fits that type of film perfectly. Along a similar kind of lines was the soundtrack for Blade. I don't like that type of music at
I
all.
suppose.
But it fits in the film beautifully. I've got two films here that I absolutely adore the soundtracks for. We've got Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's quite a common
Girl.
one. What's it then? Do 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 do. You'll be a woman soon. So that's quite an obvious choice. There's so many different kind of genres of music in it, and obviously Quentin Tarantino's quite meticulous with his music choices and everything. You've got music that sounds a certain way that it's just a completely different sound to what you'd expect at the time. Like you get the same in Reservoir Dogs with the clouds to the left of me, jogs to the right.
I'm gonna cut your ear off.
In the middle of you. Do you know the guy that sung that song, Jerry Rafferty? Do you know?
I don't know him
he was in a
personally.
band with Billy Connolly.
He's what?
He was in the band with Billy Connolly. He was in the Humble Bums.
Oh wow.
He was when Connolly first came on the scene. He was in a wee folk band, and it was him and Jerry Rafferty. That's cool. And this might be my all-time favourite movie soundtrack, and it's Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
But it's also one of my all-time favourite films.
Well,
so that helps.
I better go watch it.
I can't believe you've not seen Vanilla Sky.
Well, I will. Hey, Jordan.
There, my friend, is a deep
Yes,
dive.
well, we shall allow them to vote for that one, but I will watch it. I've got a few noteworthy mentions. Movies that were great movies, but the music just takes it to a greater height and will forever be solidified in history because of it. One is Ghost. And these movies are mainly, when you hear that song, it makes you think of the movie. You know, where a song's a song, but when you listen to a song, there are certain songs where you're like, that automatically makes you think it, yeah? So Ghost, whenever you hear Unchained Melody, you're going to automatically picture Patrick Swayze and bloody, what's her name? Why am I so...
Demi Moore.
Yeah, Demi Moore. Why am I
Moore.
so blankety-blockety the night?
Because you've got 19 kids.
19 kids. Why is anything more than 2 19, for fuck's sake? 3. But Ghost, yeah, I think Ghost's one of those movies that has a song. When you hear that song, you're automatically going to imagine them beating shit out of that piece of pottery. Another one with good soundtrack, but is also a good movie, Top Gun. On top of that, this one again a bit of a grey area, but I thought the music was brilliant for Gladiator.
Oh,
That's Enya.
I listen to that all the time.
Yeah, Enya. She, Lisa Gerrard, who is Enya, and Hans Zimmer together created the music for that. So yeah, that's a movie with some amazing music. You'll love this one, Jordan. The Lost Boys has a hell of a soundtrack.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, it's fucking awesome, right? I know you're getting all uptight because it's Lost Boys, but we'll get into that. No, sure, don't worry.
I don't have a problem with Lost Boys.
It's fine. What? You don't like it? It's fine. Another one on a movie that is very dear to our heart, The Never-Ending Story. The music's just out of this world.
Yeah.
I know what you're going to bring up. I know what you're going to bring up. Go for it.
I listened to a podcast the other day where it's a podcast based completely on movies, and it's actually really good. It's very detailed. It's a wee bit left wing for my liking, but other than that, it's actually quite decent. And they said that the soundtrack for The Never-Ending Story was fucking terrible, and that the film is actually crap.
Well, they need to be reassessing their lives, Jordan.
It's like I loved it when I was a kid. Watched it recently. Not a good movie. It's like,
well, that's not a good podcast to listen to. Then don't even credit them.
Well, your mum should have had you aborted. It's not my fault.
Yeah, they should rewatch that again and again and again. Another movie of mine, which is one of my all-time favourites. Not many people know this about me, but I absolutely love the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack and movie.
I've never seen it.
What? Well,
I'm not a big musical fan, man.
No, not me either. But
rock,
it's just, you know, I don't know if I'd be such a fan if I hadn't grown up watching it continuously, rewind it, watch it, rewind it, watch it, rewind it, watch it. You notice I said rewind it first because usually anytime you pick a Back in those days, until you pick up a tape, had to always rewind it. Another movie is Rocky. The music's all right until you get to Rocky 3, where the music took it to another level. Rocky 4, the altogether soundtrack on Rocky 4 for me was the best. You know, you had Eye of the Tiger from Rocky 3, which obviously took the movie franchise to a new level. Sylvester Stallone wanted something fresh, something to make you want to fight, and he contacted Survivor, left an answer machine message. They didn't believe it was him, told him to go fuck his cell, realised it was him, wrote a fucking timeless classic. But all round, Rocky 4 does have the best all round soundtrack, where you can pretty much listen to every song on that album and just go, oh yeah. And every song makes you think of the movie.
I think there's one song in particular in it that I just don't like, and it's the one where he's where they're cleaning the cars and his boys dancing with the robot.
Aye.
That song's for want of a better expression, pish.
Aye.
Other than that, it's an awesome soundtrack, man. It fits exactly what the film is. And do you know, one of my favourite tunes in that film is the Russian national anthem.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
There's something about the Russian national anthem that's just lifts your spirits. I don't know what it is. It just makes you feel. I mean, listen to ours. I say ours. That's not ours. That's the UK's. But that's the one that gets forced on everybody. But even when
will this end?
And that's slightly better. But when you've got one that goes, it's fucking class.
Do you know what I think the national anthem of Scotland should be?
What?
500 Miles by the Proclaimers.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
The Proclaimers. I proclaim the Proclaimers are gash.
Well, moving to my final noteworthy mention. Another movie that is just a hell of a movie, but with a hell of a soundtrack, written by a hell of an artist who is no longer with us. Labyrinth.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. But I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for Labyrinth, I probably wouldn't have listened to any of the songs in that.
Sick. I mean, there you go. I suppose you're right.
It's just not my type of music normally, but you can enjoy it in the context of the film.
Yeah. That was a good one to end on then, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I've got another one though.
Oh, okay.
Highlander.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally forgot about it until now as well.
Yeah. Who Wants to Live Forever, Princes of the Universe, and then Highlander 2, Kind of Magic.
It's a fantastic soundtrack.
Yes. And it's a really good movie as well. I need to dig out my collection and introduce it to the wife. I know she would like it if she could just go back to it. Tell me the Kurgan's not the most creepiest, scariest fucking bad guy that you did not want to fight when you were a kid, or even now.
Oh, he terrified me when I was a kid, man. I thought it was a fucking
So
horror
he's got
film.
like paper clips in his fucking neck, and he's like, he's just fucking horrifying, man. And he cut Ramirez's head off, so it was shite. It wasn't a pleasurable viewing experience.
I am Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez. No, your name's got to be like Jimmy McGrotty with that fucking accent.
I know. Crazy. Yeah. So, yep, that's us coming to
You look like a woman, you stupid haggis.
Aye, there is that. So, that's us coming to the end of this wee show for you guys now. So, as we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add, Jan Dorian, last of all known mankind, Flat Earth Explorians?
Fright Night.
Fright Night?
Fright Night, 80s vampire film that's actually pretty decent.
Fuck up.
Yep. And also, harking back to David Bowie for a second, The Hunger.
Still no. Hey, do you know
and
what?
also your favourite one, Transylvania 65000.
Do you know? I think you should get your wife, and I'll get my wife, and we shall put on Fright Night or Near Dark versus Lost Boys and see what they both say, because they probably haven't watched them growing up, but to watch them.
No, they did.
Nah, your
did.
wife might have. I don't think mine did. Yeah, Lauren, did you watch
My
Lost
wife
Boys?
certainly the Lost
Play
Boys.
Lost
Certainly,
Boys.
it'll
Think
win
it was
it.
better 80s
It'll win
movie.
it on nostalgia alone. They won't be able to be subjective.
Vampire 80s movie. She says Dirty Dancing was better than Lost Boys. I'm like, vampire.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I know. Well, Patrick Swayze was a better. He's a better vampire now. He's dead. He's pan.
Hang on, was she not only supposed to be like 15 in that film? It's a bit
Yes.
statutory rapey.
Yes, but we'll get to that on another show. So I've been Kevin Wells, and J-Mac has been Jan Dorian, last of all known Flat Earth Mankind Explorians. You guys...
This is getting worse.
I'll always add. You guys, thanks for listening. I know you are there because I see the stats every week, so it's not like we're talking to ourselves. So thanks for not making us talk to ourselves. And if you guys want to go ahead and subscribe or even leave us a review, that'd be shit hot. See if you leave it. Oh, do you know what? Leave us a review, right? And even if it's shit, I'll read them out on the show. That'd be hilarious, just to read out the reviews. And see if you go and you give us a really good review and something entertaining to read out, we'll go ahead and send you a free fucking t-shirt. I say free, but it means Jordan's going to pay for it, or me, or both. But you'll get it for free. So make it worth our money, please. Especially when I don't have a fucking job yet. But we'll find out about that on the next show. So go ahead and send us all your Jibber Jabber questions and whatnot to Jibber Jabber Scotland at Hotmail, not Hotmail, sorry, restart that because I'm not editing the shit out of that. Jibber Jabber Scotland at gmail.com. Going into ask us, requests, questions you want us to read out, shit you want us to read out, pictures you want us to post, anything. This is a podcast for all of us. Unless you identify as a fucking onion, do not come anywhere near us. So yeah, on that note, check out all the shit we've got going on social media. What the fuck's going on with you, Instagram? I don't know what it is, but I like it. And we shall see you next week.
And we won't be back after this.
I'm going to sing Cher Lloyd by Cher Lloyd or Rebecca G. Then. And don't forget all the trouble we got into.
Why does somebody not know how to flush a toilet after they've had a shit?
That's not me.
Well, it was fucking one of yous. Disgusting!
Disgusting!